Yeah, let's watch the Ellen DeGeneres stuff. I hate that bit.
After she allegedly ran a stop sign and T-boned a woman's Tesla. So even after moving
What?
across the world, it seems like Ellen, for some reason, is having a hard time avoiding American headlines. Except for this time, she isn't being called out for being a shitty boss. She's being called out for T-boning an innocent woman in her Tesla. Because I guess who needs stop signs when you can just plow into another vehicle? Not very generous.
Oh, she ignored a stop sign. Yeah, I can totally see that. Yeah, she's the kind of person that does that.
If you ask me. But hey, this is very unfortunate for Ellen, as the last few years she's been under scrutiny for a numerous amount of controversies. The main one being that she creates a toxic work culture and that she doesn't really live up to the whole be kind mantra that she preached on for decades on TV. But
Who could have guessed?
before all of that, Ellen was mostly a beloved comedian, talk show host, and maybe more notably, the voice actor of Dory in Finding Nemo.
Want a piece of me? Yeah. Ooh, I'm scared now. What?
Wait a minute.
Stop following me, okay?
But a lot has changed since the infamous Oscar selfie has been taken, back when Ellen was actually in the good graces of the general public. But I mean, in the years since, Ellen has had such a fall from grace so monumental it should be studied. It's a good lesson in showing up for people, like maybe if Ellen showed up to, what's her name, Dakota James's birthday party, she would have still been on TV doing what she loves doing.
That was something. For the ones who don't remember, Dakota invited her to her wedding, but Ellen didn't go. And then in Ellen's show, when she asked Dakota why she didn't invite Ellen. Oh, turns out she did. Yeah, that woman.
Her show and conducting hidden camera experiments designed to humiliate her audience members. That is such a fascinating use of being a show host. Why would you ever want to humiliate an audience member of yours? Like, she
It's called being a sadist.
literally made her audience member go sit in Ellen jail. Imagine traveling far and you're excited to sit in the audience and get free merch, only to be portrayed as like some damn Daniel of being greedy and dishonest. Are you serious? But unfortunately for Ellen, she just kind of had this like death by 1,000 cuts, because nothing like truly insane happened. It was just a bunch of moments that made people go, yeah, that's kind of weird. Why would she do that to someone? But it's safe to say in recent years, Ellen has been laying low and trying to avoid drama as much as possible. She also literally moved across the world to England. So for most, she's kind of been out of sight, out of mind until this week, as she's now being sued for negligence after allegedly running a stop sign and T-boning another driver back in 2023. The woman, whose name hasn't been released, claims she—
Wait, in 2023? Oh my god, oh my god, I just realized all this stuff is going on for so long already. Oh my god. In 5 minutes I turn 80, I think. Oh, Jesus Christ.
She stopped at a four-way intersection and made sure there was no other vehicles present before driving forward. That's when DeGeneres allegedly and suddenly, without any warning, collided into her vehicle and T-boned her, causing injury. So I mean, since this was 2023, Ellen probably was rushing to work to scream at some intern for her new Netflix special. We'll get into that later on. But the lawsuit does go on to further accuse Ellen of exhibiting
So the crash was in America, okay. And before she lost her career, okay. So time is not flying by that fast. Thank God.
negligent behavior or conduct that fell below the standard of care of a reasonable person. So they're basically saying that Ellen wasn't paying attention to the laws of the road, and her negligence in this case, ignoring a stop sign, caused an accident. There isn't too much public information on the severity of the accident itself or the specifics of this woman's injuries, but the lawsuit does state that she suffered multiple serious personal injuries and damages as a result. Hold up. I'm just making literally the best sugar-free lemonade I've ever tasted. Yes, this is sponsored, but prove me wrong. Actually, I can prove you wrong. You can literally order a free sample pack. No payment details needed. You can get a free sample pack with free shipping on gamersubs.gg/atozy. So if you don't believe me, they have the best sugar-free lemonade, I can literally prove you wrong. But if you actually do believe me and you want to get a tub of lemonade or any of the other flavors on the website, it's like $40 for one tub, which is 100 servings. So it's like 40 cents per serving. Plus, with my code ATOZY, you get 10% off. So I don't really see a loss here. So I'd heavily recommend you go into gamersubs.gg/ATOZY for 10% off or free sample packs if you want. And if you do end up buying something from the GamerSub site, you will be supporting the channel heavily because I am trying to get my own flavor here. That's currently my main dream. I just want to have my own flavor of a beverage. That sounds pretty awesome. And if you guys were wondering, I'm going to call it Memory Lane Melon because I heavily like melon flavored stuff. And you know, my
I would call mine dick sauce.
whole branding is running down memory lane. So I guess regardless of what the injury was, she still likely had to deal with things like missing out on paydays because, you know, she was unable to work and all of the medical expenses required to deal with her injuries, not to mention that on top of all the financial burden of the accident. And the woman also allegedly struggles with loss of enjoyment of life, emotional distress, and anxiety. And I guess all of those things stacked up on top of each other result in this woman suing Ellen for general negligence and an undisclosed amount of compulsory damages.
I can see that, yeah. I mean, if you're, making sure that no one is coming, and then you drive, and now you get rammed by someone that's speeding and not stopping at the stop sign, yeah, I can see that.
Naturally, people in the comments of these articles called this cash grab and questioned why this woman waited 2 years before finally suing. Honestly, that's a valid question. But also, to be fair, she could have just assumed that she would recover and be back to work in a couple months, and then...
Yes, that's actually true. And you don't know that, all the, I mean, if she has nightmares of that, I mean, you can believe that, it's over in a couple of weeks. But if you have still nightmares 2 years after that, yeah, yeah. I mean, I had nightmares from my, from the cyst I had up here in my gum. I had nightmares for 5 years, I think. Twice a week, at least. Where I was waking up, sweating and kicking. Yeah, no. That's bad.
Things didn't work out as planned. It's hard to really tell when you get such limited information in the lawsuit, but also, is that a telling thing? Like, if she was seriously injured, would they not go into way more detail on how seriously injured she was? I'm just saying, I've been sued before, and BitBoy was claiming emotional distress and lost pay and a lot of similar stuff to what she's claiming here. That's not me saying this woman's going for a cash grab here, but BitBoy was definitely going for a cash grab at me, or well, he was just trying to drain me of money at the time. And if you subscribe to my channel in the last 2 years, TLDR, the biggest crypto bro 2 years ago decided to sue me. He didn't have a case, and he ended up withdrawing the lawsuit after he raised a whole bunch of money thanks to you guys. But I digress. Other people are currently speculating that the reason it took so long for her to file a lawsuit is because she may have been trying to settle it privately, and after many failed attempts, she's now gone public. See, that kind of makes a little
That makes sense.
bit more sense. But if you have
And knowing how Ellen is, character-wise, it also makes sense that she wouldn't settle.
been keeping up with me for a while, you would remember that back in 2020, we covered her original first downfall. Actually, I made 2 separate videos on this topic. The first one was covering some of her scandals back then, and then the second one was the work environment. Because there was a ton of things that Ellen had done to piss off the majority of people during COVID, like cut a bunch of shows' employees' pay, and compare her being quarantined in her beautiful home to being in...
Everyone in here is gay.
It just kind of came across as out of touch when she...
What?
During COVID, like cut a bunch of shows' employees' pay, and compare her being quarantined in her beautiful home to being in...
Everyone in here is gay.
It just kind of came across...
She really said everyone in here is gay? The hell?
as out of touch when she was living here. But also, it was...
Wow.
In here is gay.
It just kind of came across as out of touch when she was living here.
That's beautiful. Now, to be fair, I'm more talking about all the trees and the bushes and stuff like that. And this wall. This here looks nice. I'm not a fan of pools, and I mean, these look really nice. But the rest of the house, I'm not a fan. I hate modern architecture, so not a fan of the house. But this part here, that looks great. This looks great. All the green looks great. The hills, yeah. But not the house.
But also, it wasn't a pandemic. This was everyone's first pandemic, and most were scared and feeling cooped up. So at least we can cut her a little bit of slack there. Still think it's kind of a scummy thing to cut all your employees' wages, but hey, I'm just saying I didn't actually increase wages. But I also do realize we have a very different show format. And honestly, that was nothing compared to the toxic workplace claims that came out in July of 2020. Because multiple staff members came forward with various allegations, such as being penalized for taking medical leave and fear of retribution for raising complaints about working conditions. While no specific allegations were made against DeGeneres, one former employee alleged producers hid the toxic workplace complaints from the host. So I guess you could claim that you didn't know, but the show is literally named after you, and the whole show goes on about being super generous. It's just
Really? Being generous?
just a massive juxtaposition. Then, after a couple failed apologies and attempts to sweep the article and growing rumors under the rug, the Ellen DeGeneres show ended up ending in July of 2022.
My last season.
And a couple years after that, in 2024, Ellen came out of the woodwork to release a comedy special titled For Your Approval. And in this special, she tried and she failed to laugh off the
Yeah, that's what I remember. That thing completely failed.
accusations about her workplace culture and wiggle her way back into people's good books. And she did actually respond to the rumors. And Ellen's version of the events includes her being kicked out of show business for being mean. She says on her own Netflix special. Okay. The top comment on the trailer also says that people think the audience are actors.
All right, well, let me catch up on what's been going on with me since you saw me last. I decided to take up gardening. I got chickens. Let me see what else I can tell you about that's been going on.
So funny. What's next? Is she making jokes about her disgusting vagine?
Oh, yeah, I got kicked out of show business. The Be Kind girl wasn't kind. That was the headline. Here's the problem.
Remember, being on a stage, on a big stage actually, in front of maybe, I don't know, 500 people, means you have been kicked out of show business.
I'm a comedian who got a talk show, and I ended the show every day by saying, be kind to one another. Had I ended my show by saying, go f yourselves, people would have been pleasantly surprised to find out I'm kind.
Now, based on the trailer alone, I
But you aren't. You aren't kind. You are a bitch.
don't think anyone expected to be blown away by this, but her casual attitude about the serious allegations obviously rubbed a ton of people the wrong way. And public opinion of Ellen at this point was still not the best. And it kind of seemed like any hope for a return to the spotlight was over for her at this point. And after the results of the 2024 US election, Ellen and her wife, Portia, she stuck to her word and actually packed up and moved to the United Kingdom.
Whether you agree with her politically or not, she stuck to her guns. She is
True to her word.
She and Portia de Rossi have left the country.
Days after the election, they bailed.
You know, I wonder who in that relationship
Left the country.
Days after.
beats up who. I wonder. Or do they get a third woman that they both, beat up?
After the election, they bailed.
Because that's what lesbians do.
They went to England. Now, they had a house that they
already had a house in
They
it.
had a house, but that didn't mean they were going to live there. It's in the Cotswolds. And they made a decision, as our source put it, who is very connected to them, to get the hell out. And they did it days after the election. They live there now. And they're going to sell the Montecito house.
And she states it was to leave behind the insanity of the US, but fans speculated that it was really just to get away from the negative press and let the dust settle. Because
Well, of course. She doesn't really care about Trump. She just pretends.
believe it or not, my only crime was being mean joke didn't really land that well with a lot of people. So I guess after living peacefully with her wife in the English countryside for over a year, I'm sure she thought she finally left her Hollywood lifestyle and all these scandals in the past. That was until now, because the California legal system has just come knocking at her door. It's unclear if any more details will be released anytime soon, but I'd be surprised if Ellen didn't want to settle this privately and avoid having to return to California for what would obviously be a very public court case. For now, we'll have to wait and see if they'll actually settle or go to court. But if I would give Ellen any advice, I would take her own and just keep swimming. Or maybe to go to gamersubs.gg/Atozy and pick up the best sugar-free lemonade or any of the other flavors using code Atozy. And again, if you don't believe me the flavors are good, you can check out a sample pack, which is free. You don't even need a credit card or debit card or any payment options. Free shipping, literally a free gift from me. Link down below. But other than that, I'll see you guys in the next video. Subscribe if you're new. Drop a like if you enjoyed this video. Peace. This Taylor Swift,
Everything he said.
after she allegedly ran a stop sign and T-boned a woman.
But my channel and my video. Like, subscribe. Or if you are on Kick or Twitch, follow.